Welcome to the Question of the Month. Since we started Veritas, we've been talking about how nonprofits need to change how they think about and treat their donors. Yet it's a shift that is still desperately needed in many nonprofits. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now here's this month's question, Jeff. Here's this month's question. What is holding nonprofits back from treating their donors well?
Well, that's a great question, and one that we've been grappling with from the very beginning. And we've been talking about this, I think, since the very first time we wrote anything about this work, right?
We really have. Yeah.
Because organizations are not treating their donors well.
Which is why they're going away, like at just record numbers.
40, 60% gone, a year over a year. We're just losing them. I think there's two major reasons. And the first one is that organizations are not set up right. They don't have collaboration with each other. So you have all these structures, departments working for themselves, not working as a team. So you've got the direct response team, you've got the mid-level, you've got major gifts, plan giving. And sometimes they never talk to one another. In fact, we've seen some organizations that have different databases for the direct response side and the major gift side. So they never talk to one another, and therefore, none of these donors are moving up the pipeline as well as they could be.
And they have different crediting policies. So you get credit for this, and sometimes they're in conflict.
Exactly. Their systems and structures, they're not set up properly. They're not aligned together. They don't have a structure where they're working together with the direct response, the mid-level, the major gift, and the plan giving side. They're all working separately.
Like to pass the donor along.
Exactly.
In fact, passing the donor along is like a foreign concept.
Right. So you might have KPIs for the direct response team that if they let go their donors, they'll lose revenue, which will mean they'll lose, their big KPIs, which is to grow the thing. And there's nothing in their KPIs that say we need to move donors up the pipeline.
Which is how they naturally want to move.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's not set up to honor the donor. It's about set up to create the best thing for the each department internally.
I know. So what do you do about these things? So what's the answer?
Well, I think first of all, you got to revisit this whole structure thing. Is the structure aligned to the pipeline? Are those KPIs in alignment with moving the donor from acquisition to making that planned gift? That would be number one. The second thing is that you don't allow one discipline to overpower another. So you don't have direct response leading the whole thing.
Yep.
And then major gifts is like the stepchild, right?
Right.
Or the major gifts is doing everything and there's no donors coming in because there's no investment made in the donor acquisition part. So they all have to align together and play well together, or else it doesn't work.
Which requires a leader up above making sure that they value the whole thing equally understand how it works.
That's right. And then not only the discipline about that, but then the investment in each area. That has to be aligned correctly. So there again, that's where a leader has to take control and say, look, we need to invest in all of these areas properly, and not one gets more than the other.
Yeah, but what if donor acquisition is just going nuts? They've never seen the kind of response and the cost per donor, and it's the revenue per donor. Yeah. It's like, we got to put more money into it. I mean, what's wrong with that? Just put tons of money over there.
Well, if it's working well, I can see you want to invest in that, but that can't be, you can't take one from the other. If you're going to invest a lot in donor acquisition, eventually that's going to have to trickle up into the major gifts, and you're going to have to hire more people because there are going to be more major donors coming into that pipeline, right?
Right. And you need to invest almost a related amount over in the
Exactly. So it's not one or the other. It's yes and, right?
That's great stuff, Jeff. Thank you. And I hope this has been helpful in identifying where you need to focus so you can treat your donors differently. A great place to start to make this shift is to focus on building a culture of philanthropy. We have a free white paper that will guide you through that process and help you clearly identify actions you can take. Just click on the button below or link in this post to download your copy. Thank you and see you next time.